My name is Roman Johnson. I am a black cisgender man with brown skin wearing a gray shirt and translucent glasses. I have a curly dark brown mini afro with a lit chandelier in my background. I'll be reading an excerpt from my novel in progress, American Fable, starting with the prologue and a bit from the opening couple of paragraphs. American Fable is a neo ghost tale about family and belonging that stretches to contemporary times. Trader of Charlestown. By now, the ground of the town, especially where the cage hung in the town square across a Gothic court, was poisonous. No outlets for refuse. Every place became a repository for filth. Feces and urine from a dock worker's chamber pot went straight into the cage because it belonged there. But there was also a sign on the cage and a girl staring at it with fascination earlier that day. The girl traced her hand across the sign's edifice, Trader of Charlestown. From the side, a girl passing by, like she did every day to work, said to the cage, "It looks like a small mountain of coal, something like my grandfather kept for winters." But the court painter, who also ogled what was left, thought it looked more like a sculpture of ashes, and even more so when the wind blew wildflowers in his reed basket and the flowers landed squarely in the clinch of the metal bars. By evening, the caged corpse, having been on display for a while, seemed magnetic, so that everyone who came to the cage had to have a piece of him, even smaller children like the dock hand's son. Blonde haired, he reached his pink hand towards the surviving piece of the man's pants that had not burned and put it in his notepad as a bookmark. The cage's rust matched the declining tint of the sunlight. Are you taking a nigger souvenir? The father laughed like the scattering of a hollow drum. The traitor's ashes were still in the air. Blue Horse's face was handsome in the dusky light. His buttery brown skin had the kind of red complexion that only a cherry could hold, and his hands and his legs were no different. I like how smooth your fingers are and the way you wave them across the hairs of my leg. You rapture me, Blue Horse said to Frank, who lay naked on his bale of hay underneath and wrapped around each other. It's been a while being here with you. He looked directly at Blue Horse now. Was worth it. I missed this. Don't twist your face at me like that. Frank pushed his leg off, rolling his eyes at Blue Horse. You smell a bit ripe when you arrived. I mean, it could have been the donkey you brought here. Not saying all the foul odor was you. Blue Horse was a pet sometimes, but Frank, as much as he was annoyed by those characteristics of his, it's what drew him to Blue House. I'm already due back in Callaway. Time to untie the goats so they can feed, and for me to get back to being with Bessie. She gave me time to be with you. Just for this while. Just for this while. Blue Horse repeated Frank's words gently. Beyond the bird songs growing stronger, screaming blared, which caused Blue Horse to jump out of bed and hurriedly put on his clothes. Frank was already fully dressed. Then a woman who was half Narragansett and African, with chestnut skin and almond shaped eyes, appeared with a work gown made by her hands. It was tattered but beautiful, with embroidered dark brown tadpoles, with an almost fluorescent teal modeling. Her cinnamon face was younger looking than the rest of her body, which carried long arms and gray silky hair. The woman hollered into the shack, and everyone was spurred into a frantic mess. My babies, they're gone. Dale and Marina are gone. Outside the shack, they heard the raps at the door first. Then they heard the woman screaming that startled. But in the chaos, they recognized the deep alto voice of the woman screaming who they called Granny. She watched over Dale and Blue Horse when they were small and working in the fields. Dale was Blue Horse's wife, and Marina his daughter. When Dale started spreading, when Blue Horse and she were about 14, Mallow's lust grew. The older man pulled her into the big house where she worked as a cook, and the night hid so much treachery done to her. She's gone. They're gone. What do you mean? Blue Horse disorientedly asked. Mallow told me. He told me I could buy their freedom and then mine. I was getting my pay from Deer. Had it right to give to me, Blue Horse said. You know you can't trust Mallow to keep his word, Blue, Frank said. It just isn't in him. This is the third year he promised he would let them walk, and every year he asked you to bring more money. Mallow told Blue Horse last year close to Christmas that because the town increased the tax on a on apprenticing enslaved people, as the production of apprentice goods was a major industry, he now owed him more money. It's your fault, Blue Horse thought to himself. He heard of men in his town freeing their families craftily, making a way where there was none. How could his situation be any different? Maybe beyond his training in carpentry, he needed more training on contracts and things like what Pastor Milbury, the local pastor who lived among free Black people in Charlestown, told him long ago. You could write a petition to the court like some brothers in bondage in my church have done. He remembered Pastor Milbury saying, no, I am nothing and less than the bugs on the ground, Blue Horse said, coming to himself while shriveling from his broad shoulder, taller self, and to the size of a mite. Mallow called Blue Horse Ezra, a name signaled autonomy. He had no future. He was Ezra now. Thank you.